Hey there, how's it going? I'm here in Northern California, walking to Lake Mendocino. Now normally this is a road that you drive along to get to a campground and a parking area where you can park and then start a hike along the lake. I have done many videos at that spot before. It is just maybe 15 miles or so from the town of Ukiah. Right there is Highway 20, which goes from the California coast around Mendocino town and Fort Bragg here in Mendocino County. Ukiah is the county seat of Mendocino County. And then it goes east to west, from here going east to the Sierra Nevada mountains and Highway 80. And so you come from Ukiah and you drive on that road and then turn off, and then you can get on this road here. So I was quite surprised to find that the road had a gate across it right where you normally get onto it, and at first was kind of bummed out and then thought, well, I can just park here and do the hike anyways. And as you could see there, a little dirt on the road. I think that what happened is that this area flooded. There was major rain just a few weeks ago, and you could see that dirt on the road, and then there's kind of, dirt in different spots, so that must be why this road is blocked off. So I am making that hike anyways to the lake. I don't think I'll get there in the course of this video. I guess we'll see. But anyways, so this is going to be a story from India. I was in India for 6 weeks just recently. I just got back about a week ago, and there is one particular 24-hour period that was quite exciting, not intentionally so, just one of those random series of events that transpired in the course of trying to get from one place to another. I didn't do any video shooting at that time because I thought it was just going to be a pretty non-eventful overnight train ride going from Hampi to south of there towards Bangalore. And so if you happen to have been following my videos here, then you know that I spent quite a bit of time in Hampi, about 2 weeks. An amazing area in South India with temple ruins and really cool boulder-strewn landscapes, a river, a lot of things to see there. And then there was kind of a break in my videos. I was in Hampi, and then the next thing I was in, I guess, taking a bus from Tiruvanamalai to Pondicherry over on the eastern coast of India. And so this story is going to fill in that gap, getting from Hampi to Tiruvanamalai. So when I was in Hampi, then I wasn't quite sure where exactly I was going from there. And people had mentioned a place called Nandi Hills, which is near the big city of Bangalore. It sounded kind of interesting. It was a hill station, which means it's up in the mountains, a place to get out of the intense heat, especially of South India. But there are hill stations all around India that were set up by the British as administrative centers and as sort of, weekend getaways and places to go on vacation, and, sort of nicer areas that are in a natural setting, and usually smaller towns set in the mountains where it is cooler and they can escape the intense heat of India. And so I looked into Nandi Hills a little bit. There's the problem, a little bit. I didn't understand quite exactly what was there. I will get to that later. But I watched a video. It looked really pretty. People had recommended it, and it was right near Bangalore. And so I thought, well, I'll head there, stop for a few days, check it out, and then continue on from there to where I was looking forward to going next, which was the town of Tiruvanamalai. So I booked a train going from Hospet to some stop along the train route that I have no idea what it was. It wasn't a destination spot. It was very close to Bangalore, but it was before Bangalore. The train was going to Bangalore. But the person that I had booked the train with said that was the closest stop to get to Nandi Hills. So the day arrives. It is a night train. It leaves at like 9 p.m. I think. Now, one problem is that it was going to be arriving at 4:30 in the morning. So that was definitely not ideal. It gave me pause as to whether I should even take this train, but it was really the only train that was available in the next coming days. And so I decided, well, go for it. Probably the train will be a little bit late. They tend to be. So if it's between 5 and 6, then I just got to wait around for a little while until it gets light, and then from there, then I will be figuring things out, winging it in my usual style to get up to Nandi Hills. But I figured there would be a bus. I can catch a rickshaw to the bus station, whatever. I'd figure it out. Check this out. So definitely some flooding action here. That's why the road is closed. And so it is time for me to catch my train. I get all packed up in the evening, leave my room, catch a rickshaw to the town of Hospit, where the train leaves from. And then as I am walking onto the platform there, then I run into someone who has seen my videos. Shrey was his name, I think, if I'm getting that right. Nice guy from India. And so we end up talking there for quite a while waiting for the train, so that was nice to have someone to talk to. And then the trippy thing is that it turns out that we are both on the same train car and like 2 bunks away from each other. So that was a trip. So the train arrives, we hop on, I settle into my bunk there, and the train ride itself goes fairly smoothly. I have a top bunk and pull out my blankets and just kind of kick back and relax, and eventually manage to fall asleep. I set an alarm for 4 in the morning, and so I managed to sleep for a couple of hours and then get up when it is nearing my stop. Still very groggy, only got a couple of hours of kind of funky sleep, but I'm doing okay. The train is a little bit delayed, not by too much, but we end up arriving at my station at about 5 in the morning. So I get off at that stop with my big backpack and everything. It is still dark, so I go into the little train station there. It is a very small stop, a few people around looking at me like this guy seems a little out of place, which I was. Definitely not a tourist stop there, but it's all good. I'm kind of used to these kinds of situations. And so I wait for 45 minutes or so until it starts getting light, and then head out into the barely dawn there and find a rickshaw and explain that I need to get to the bus station. And he understands, gives me a ride to the bus station. There's quite a few buses there. It's actually fairly bustling already. Some pretty spring flowers here. At the top of this hill, then it will go down to the campground, and so it looks like you will actually get to see Lake Mendocino in the course of this video, because I still got a long story to tell. And so I go up to a bus worker at the bus station there in whatever that town was, and say Nandi Hills, and he points me towards a bus. I go get on, looks like it's getting ready to go in just a few minutes, and the bus starts going. We head out of that little town, and after like maybe 15-20 minutes or so, then one of the bus workers on the bus motions to me to get my pack, indicating that I need to get off the bus. But we're sort of in the middle of nowhere. We're not in a town, and so I'm a little bit confused. I don't think anything nefarious is going on here, but I'm not quite sure what the deal is. And so the bus pulls over at this T-junction where there is a cluster of sort of like tea stalls, little like snack shops, not much, but there's something there. And I see a sign that says Nandi Hills pointing up this road. And so it turns out this is in fact the right turnoff to go to Nandi Hills. It's just that this bus is continuing in a different direction. So I get off the bus and sort of look around like, okay, now I'm in this random spot. There's hardly anybody around really. Some people at these snack shops. Looks like a tree fell across the road here. And so I go up to one of the people at the little snack shops there and ask about the bus going to Nandi Hills, and he says, I think 9:30 or 10:30 or something. It is only around like 7 in the morning, so I don't want to stand around there for the next 3 hours. But there are a few rickshaw drivers nearby. It's not my, preferred choice to pay for a rickshaw because it looks like it's, up a steep hill and going to be a ways, but I'd rather pay a few hundred rupees or whatever than stand around there. So I go up to these guys, explain Nandi Hills, and one of the guys quotes me 400 rupees. And so I think about it for a second. Okay, that's, $6, $7 or so. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Better than sitting around here for 3 hours waiting for the bus. And so I agree to it, and then this other guy sort of gets involved, and then they up the price to 500 rupees. And so I'm just like, okay, whatever, let's just, get going. So both of the guys end up in the rickshaw for some reason, and we drive up the hill. It is a steep, winding road. It's like 8 kilometers or something. Still, I'm sure that was a rip-off price, but whatever. So here's the campground and the check-in office there, but definitely nobody around. Out there is the campground. I'm going to head up here, and this is where it goes to the trail that goes along the edge of the lake here. And so the two guys dropped me off at Nandi Hills. There's some great views of the surrounding countryside. You can sort of see the edges of Bangalore off in the distance. It's kind of looking fairly interesting. But there's just a little sort of turnaround there with a couple of little shops there, and then there's a walking path that goes up from there, and so it is apparent that you have to walk up further from there. And so I get my backpack on and start walking up this path. There are a fair amount of people around. It is a getaway destination for people from Bangalore getting out of the city. And so I asked somebody who is coming down the path that I'm walking up about accommodation. And at first he says, no guest house. And then he talks to a friend of his, and then he says, yes, guest house. So I'm like, okay, there is or isn't a guest house. I guess I will find out. And so I continue walking up, and eventually I figure out that there is one guest house. And I walk up to it, and there's a sign that says, online reservation only. And so I find somebody that is managing the guest house and ask them, is there any way that I can get a room without booking it online? Because at this point I'm pretty wiped out. The tiredness is coming back, and I really just want to get a room, get some sleep early in the morning so that I can then wake up and have the afternoon rather than like sleeping through the middle of the day or the afternoon or whatever. But he says, no, you have to book it online. And so at this point then I'm realizing that this is not a hill station as I had imagined it, as the other ones that I had been to previously in India, because it is not actually a town. And so that is the major problem and misunderstanding I had had about Nandi Hills. It is not a town like the other hill stations that I had been to, but it is just a spot, basically, with a few restaurants and this one guest house that people go to, basically just, head up there, check out the views and leave, and then some people might stay at the guest house. And so I'm considering, well, maybe I should try to get online and, reserve a room if I can, but I quickly kind of realized that it's just not what I had in mind and not what I'm looking forward to. Is even if I could get a room, staying there and then there's nothing to do in the evening or anything. And so I decide, okay, I'm just going to get out of here, head for Bangalore, check out the campground here. Lots of downed trees, a lot of maintenance to do here. And so I'll just get to Bangalore and find a hotel room there for the night, and then the next day continue on to Tiruvanamalai. So I asked like a security policeman guy about buses, and he points back down the hill that I had hiked up. And so I hiked down there and learned that a bus is leaving in like an hour-ish. So I wait around there, and finally the bus comes, hop on. It takes me back down the hill and then heading towards Bangalore, but it isn't going directly there. We stop at another town, I get off there, and then hop on a bus that is going into Bangalore. I am getting really tired now, and that second bus takes a long time. You know, we're outside of Bangalore, and then Bangalore is a massive, sprawling city. It is crazy traffic. It ends up taking like 2 hours or so. From there, I'm falling asleep on the bus. Finally, the bus pulls up to its stop in Bangalore, but it is not actually a bus station. It is just kind of a random place somewhere in the city with some other buses going by, but it's just a street, basically, a very busy, crazy, chaotic street. Here you can see Lake Mendocino. Looks like this is a group picnic area kind of a thing, or maybe a group campground. And so I get off the bus, and I'm just kind of looking around. Okay, now what do? There are not any apparent like hotels there. What I was thinking was that I would get into Bangalore, that the bus would go to a bus station, that there would be some hotels near the bus station. I could get a room for the night, and then in the morning just pop back over to the bus station and keep on going. But it's going to be more of a adventure, it looks like, just getting out of the city, however I end up doing it. So I am sort of looking around. I start walking in one direction that someone indicates there might be a bus station that way. There is a homeless man lying on this sort of sidewalk thing with a railing, and a cluster of dogs sitting around him. And they see me coming, and they all just immediately jump up, start barking like crazy, and heading in my direction. I hop over that railing thing, which means getting out into the street. The dogs kind of back off, but that is definitely not, very reassuring for me in the situation in which I am totally exhausted with my backpack on, not even knowing where I am or anything. And so I look on my phone for Tiruvanamalai. Look at the map and look at other towns that are nearby, and determine that there is this town called Krishnagiri, which looks like a junction point and a destination that any bus going to Tiruvanamalai would probably be going through this town of Krishnagiri. Because Tiruvanamalai is not a big city or anything. I'm thinking that it might be kind of obscure to expect to find a bus going direct to Tiruvanamalai. So as far as like finding the actual bus station where I'm going to get a bus going in the general direction of Tiruvanamalai, then it's better that I have a destination in mind that is a more likely candidate for a bus actually going there, rather than having to try to kind of explain my situation and where I'm trying to get to somebody. So anyways, Krishnagiri, I have that in mind, and I go up to some rickshaw drivers and explain bus Krishnagiri, and this one guy starts talking to other guys, and they kind of discuss it, and then the guy says, okay, this way. He quotes a reasonable price for the ride, and so he takes me to the spot where the bus supposedly will be going to Krishnagiri. And so this is the beginning of the trail that I was trying to get to. And so the spot where the bus is going to Krishnagiri is also not a bus station, but I ask a few people there and confirm, yes, the bus does come here. There are various buses going by that spot, and eventually the bus does come, headed for Krishnagiri. So I hop on it and start heading out of Bangalore there. So I've, totally abandoned my plan to stay in Bangalore, and I'm hoping that I can get to Tiruvanamalai that day. And so it's not a bad bus ride all considering. I'm still tired, but I did sort of get a little bit of sleep on that other bus, and so I'm kind of feeling a little bit more awake and as if I can actually manage this day and get through it as much as I need to, with the impending bus rides. And so I'm, just kind of geared up and prepared to just do it and hopefully get to my destination for that day. And so the bus leaves Bangalore and eventually gets to Krishnagiri, which is a sort of medium-sized town a little ways outside of Bangalore. And so it arrives at Krishnagiri. I get off the bus at the bus station and am immediately accosted once again by a wild pack of dogs, or stray dogs, that are there in the bus station, just kind of, hanging out with the people. And they see me coming, a weird-looking white guy with a big backpack on their back, and they all just start barking like crazy and running at me. I have to sort of jump into a bus and yell at them. And it's this whole scene because there's lots of people around seeing all this happening. But I'm just like, whatever, I really don't give a crap. Just get out of my, way, you stupid dogs. And so they buzz off. And I wait there for a bus going to Tiruvanamalai. I'm sure that there is a bus that will be going straight there. Takes a little while, but eventually that bus comes. I get on the bus, and it is a ways from there, another 3 or 4 hours or something. The bus ends up, going through the evening and into the dark. It's an interesting bus ride. It is more like countryside. We've left Bangalore and the city behind, and so it's little villages and sort of farming fields. Check it out, a wet spot here from the recent rainfall. Fortunately, I brought my boots. And there's Lake Mendocino. And so the bus finally pulls into Tiruvanamalai. It is maybe 8 in the evening. I go up to a rickshaw driver at the bus station there and just ask him to take me to a decent hotel. And so we head out from the bus station there, and he takes me to a fairly nice hotel. I get a room, pretty nice room, for I think 1,000 rupees, which is like $15. That's kind of expensive for me in India, but it's worth it. It's fairly nice. And I book in there for 2 nights. And that is the end of the story as far as 24 hours in India. So I had left the previous evening around 7 o'clock or so, arrived in Tiruvanamalai the next evening around 8 or so, running on basically 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and so I'm pretty wiped out. But it is good to be there. At least I survived the dogs and the overnight train ride and the craziness of getting into and then out of Bangalore, and so everything worked out as well as it could. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos from California. I have quite a few things in mind. I'm thinking of doing a full movie about my whole trip in India, the whole 6 weeks there, putting together the footage that I took and making like an hour-long or whatever movie out of it. So stay tuned for that and who knows what else. Alright, see ya.